Hi there. Welcome to the Producer Joe Show. First off, I wanted to say if you watched yesterday's show with Co Lewis, I apologize because I had some audio difficulty and I'm not hearing it today. And I think I fixed it. So that's good news. Um, Other than that, thank you again for joining me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Lots of great shows coming your way. At the end, I'll let you know who's on next week. And remember, never any politics. This person next week is in politics, but we'll never have politics on this show. We're going to talk about other things. So, anyways, here we go. My guest today is an accomplished actress, teacher, yogi. Sorry, I'll explain that in a second. A business owner and a mom. Here we go. Hello, Betty.
Hello, hello. Gosh, they're gonna think I'm some cuckoo yoga nut.
Well, no, it's just I see that and I can't help but think of hey there, boo boo. It's
Okay, that's a new one. I didn't even correlate the two. But that
that's
was
that's what happens when you hang out with like immature people like me, is you
Are you
get
kidding?
stupid crap like that.
No, I'm loving it. I actually want to steal that hey hey chicken off your shelf.
Uh, um, yeah, that thing. Watch, I'm probably gonna knock everything down now. Oh, I think it
Hey hey was my
actually,
favorite, man. The best part of
huh?
Moana. Hey hey was the best thing in Moana.
And voiced by Alan Tudyk.
So funny.
Okay, now I'll pop. Okay, stop. Okay, stop.
No, you won't shut up.
Now I'll probably get a copyright for that sound, but that's
Oh,
okay.
oh dear.
Okay, we're the rails the wheels have already come off the rails, as they say. How you doing? Thank you for joining me today.
You are so welcome, and thank you for having me. I'm well.
Good, good. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about your life. I know that you've done acting, you've been a teacher, and all this, but let's talk about your roots. You were born and raised in L.A. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
And you have family members that were in the industry, and you didn't think you were going to take that route.
I mean, I always loved performance and acting as a kid, all through high school, the whole deal, but I didn't think I was going to really pursue it professionally. Um, my grandfather was a cameraman and cinematographer for both Columbia and Paramount Pictures. And he did not want me to pursue the business. And as a result of his profession, I witnessed the not so great parts of our industry and also the great parts, but it kind of served as a deterrent for me. And I did the expected thing, went to college, became a teacher, got married, and became a mom.
Tell me about your teaching. What did you teach anything in particular, or was it just general ed?
Yeah, so I'm an early childhood specialist. I went to school to become an early childhood educator with a background in special needs early education. So over a 30-year career, holy crap, I've worked
Hmm.
with hundreds and hundreds of wonderful, amazing kids. So many of whom I've had the opportunity to see grow up, and they're now having their own babies, which really makes me feel old.
Yeah, hey, I can relate to that. I coached my son in baseball for many years, and then through social media, I get to see those kids grow up and become adults, and now they're having kids, and their kids are now the age of when I coached their parents, and it's just like, oh my god. But yeah, such is life. Um, so so what order did this go in? You were a teacher, right? And then you became a mom,
I did.
and
Anytime. As you can
wor-
see from the dorm room paraphernalia behind me, my middle one just graduated college, so I have an extra
nice.
body in the house.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I can relate to that. What when did you get into being a yogi?
It's funny. I started practicing yoga probably 12-ish years ago. Shortly after my divorce. It's always something I'd had a mild interest in, but it became a daily necessity for me, and it still is. It's actually the very first thing I do when I wake up every single morning. Um, and I'm really grateful for it. I'd ridden horses for quite some time, as did my girls, and yoga was recommended as a beneficial addition to our riding posture, um, and an ability to connect better with the horses we were riding, and it just became an addiction for me.
Hmm.
So it's something I'll probably never give up. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that we did it here for a while, and it was very therapeutic, and our bodies felt better. Definitely something we need to get back into. It's
Yeah.
it's not just bodies, it's minds. It I felt relaxed, and it's hard to relax this thing up here. It's always going.
Right.
I mean that's why I can relate with this guy.
Yeah. Tough to shut off our minds, especially given all of the stuff that's thrown at us on a daily basis.
Yeah. Are there different types of yoga? I mean, I'm not talking about like cat yoga and chicken yoga. Well, we have chickens.
I mean, I'm
I've got,
sure there are. I happen to enjoy power flow yoga, which is kind of more of a free form, but I have a girlfriend who's actually an instructor for Kundalini yoga, which is a bit of a different practice.
hmm,
I don't know too much about it. There's also the hot yoga, Bikram, um, and it's funny because I did love that, not Bikram per se, because it was rather regimented for me. It's some 30 poses that are the exact same each time. And I do enjoy the freedom of the power flow. But since the pandemic, I really haven't been back into a hot studio for obvious reasons, kind of freaked out about the germs and all the sweat and stuff. But I just kind of grew very comfortable in my home practice. Like I said, I roll out of bed first thing and I knock out my workout. And it's really kind of become a necessary part of my morning routine.
right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we enjoyed it. We need to get back into it. I know Amy's watching this, and she's gonna hold me to that. So I probably just stuck my foot in my mouth, which
Well, that's okay. I'll just have to send you some free practices. I follow an amazing practitioner named Adrienne Mishler, and she is a wonderful young lady that started her own YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrienne. I don't know how many years ago. And I followed her for ages. And I was super grateful for having her when I was on set shooting my Nickelodeon series because I was still able to practice for free using my computer or my iPad while I was away.
hmm, that's convenient. Gotta love the technology these days.
Absolutely.
So you're a mom. Tell me about your family life. What's it look like?
Well, I mean, I am a single mom. I have three children aged almost 25 who just got married. And my middle just
Yay!
graduated from the Chicago College of Performing Arts with a BFA, and is about to enter this crazy entertainment industry on their own. And my baby is going to be 21 and
That's
she's
great.
looking for a bakery. Yeah. So we're
That
all
is
very
so good.
different, very unique. Yeah.
Did I? I'm kind of jumping all around again. That's what this thing does up here.
That's
Did
okay.
I see you fly fishing at one point?
It's funny. Fly fishing is something that I've always kind of had a bit of a fascination with. I think it again is that meditative aspect. And a year and a half ago, I had briefly dated someone who was an excellent fly fisherman. And he taught me the beginnings, and I had just learned to cast and unfortunately gave myself a pretty terrific shoulder injury, which I'm
Sure.
currently dealing with. So once I get that sorted, it's definitely something that I would like to revisit.
I don't think we do that here. You got to be in like a certain region, don't you? I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I'm sure there's places in California, but being in Georgia, we have a lot of close options. I live right off the Chattahoochee, or I could go into Tennessee, just a couple hours away. So there are a lot of places to do it. Lots of lakes and rivers here.
you're a business owner. You are a connective engagement coach. Did I get that correctly?
You did.
Wow, look at me. Tell me about that.
So, connective engagement is a solopreneurship that I embarked upon um, during the pandemic, probably halfway through, I'd say in 2022. Um, I actually had, for a couple of years, both prior to and during the beginning of the pandemic, switched careers. I had retired from teaching briefly, um, and had started a business based in the corporate world, working on a podcast that was based on sales enablement and return on investment. And it enabled me a look into the corporate space for the first time. Um, and it really showed clearly the lack of interpersonal connection due to the insurgence of technology, not just the isolation of the pandemic or people struggling through the use of Zoom for business, but it was something that I was passionate about, and I found that as I could use my skills as an actor to be a believable and real human being human, I think a lot of the skills we use as actors, improvisation and just kind of learning to be and feel safe in being vulnerable and empathic, were really beneficial, especially in a buttoned up space.
Oh, that's it. I hadn't heard of that before, so that's fascinating to me. Um, and I can see how you would fit right in there with your personality and your skill set. Uh, it's like Jennifer here. She says that they fly fish in Yosemite,
Oh,
so a
sure.
little bit more north here. But yeah, I guess we could do it here if we wanted to.
Sure.
So tell me about your acting. What was your first foray into the entertainment field?
Well, I mean, like I said, as a kid, I always did the plays and live theater, and I performed through high school with a live performance troupe that specialized in a five-part a cappella harmony. Um, but, once I graduated high school, I did a little bit here, a little bit there, but really kind of just shoved it to the wayside. Um, until I got divorced at age 37. And at the time, we were living in Florida, and there was still quite a bit of production there before everything had shifted to the Hollywood South, which is now, Atlanta. Um, and it just kind of fell into my lap. It was not something I ever expected to do again. And some close friends that I'd met were active in the industry and really encouraged me, after having been a stay at home mom for 11 years, to give it a shot. So I did, and I got signed with a local agent back then, and I booked my first commercial out. So I just kind of never stopped. I've been blessed to have the wonderful agents that I have, and now I'm in Atlanta. I'm really enjoying it. Shout out to my agents, Corey and Jake at Privileged Talent. So
There you go.
yeah,
Uh, I'm gonna play a clip. You did share a clip with me. Would you like to preface this with anything, or are we just gonna roll this?
think I sent you a brief clip of the series I did for Nickelodeon where I played a witch.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm
Well,
not
with
sure
that,
if it shows that part. I think this was the mom side.
See, hi, Mom. Oh, I was so worried about you. Thank goodness you're all right. Let me take a look at both of you. My beautiful, perfect family. You're smart and you're brave and understanding. Everything I'd hoped you'd be. Come back soon. You know.
well, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Reminds me of watching Nickelodeon with my girls when they were younger.
Yeah, it was really
So
a fun experience. If someone had told me that at 42 I would book a season regular role on a series for a major network like that, I would have told them they were crazy. And then it happened, and it was kind of crazy. It happened, ironically, just a matter of a few weeks after my father had passed away unexpectedly.
hmm.
Um, and it was really one of the most interesting experiences of my life. The young lady that played my daughter is a fabulously talented young actress, Julia Antonelli. And she's now so grown up. It's kind of crazy that it's been that long, but that was back in 2015. Yeah.
Oh, it's like your extended family almost.
Right. And I do still speak to, that's one of the beautiful things about my industry. Um, there are two very different worlds, I suppose. There's the typical Hollywood, Los Angeles, and then there's the Southeast community. And I have to say, I've got to shout us out because it is like a family. You can be in a waiting room with your competition and have a very friendly and kind conversation. And I've made friends that are probably going to be lifers, just through the experiences that I've had as an actress in the film and TV world here, which is something I cherish.
You was it 2021? You did the Hulu show, God forbid, about the Falwell family. Is that
That was
correct?
22. That was actually
22.
exactly 2 years ago today, kind of this month, I think. Kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a ride.
Yeah, tell me about that experience. What really sticks out in your mind from that?
Well, just, one of the beautiful things we get to do as performers is play characters that we would otherwise never be or hope not to be, right? And I'm not a fan of the politics, but Billy Corbin, who's a fabulous director out of Miami, likes to expose the bad peeps. And he does it in a very fun and truthful and very factual way. Um,
Mhm.
this was a story about Jerry Falwell Jr., who was the former president of Liberty University, which was the biggest Christian university in the country. And he was caught with his hand in not so great places. His wife was interesting. I got to portray her in some reenactments. And it was definitely an interesting experience to learn the politics and the facts behind the story. Um, but it was a blast to do for sure.
How long did that shoot last?
8 days. Yeah, we did it pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of impressive.
They did a really incredible job. There were only 3 actors involved, my friends Sam and Landon, and it was a perfect example of the lifelong friendship experience. It just so happened I had known Landon from my days of living in Florida as an actor, and he was just ironically cast as my husband, and we'd worked as husband and wife in a commercial before for Ethos Insurance, so that was fun. And Sam was a doll, from LA, and really nice guy. So it was really a lot of fun, and we all became pretty close, having worked together that way for 8 full days. But Billy was brilliant in that he took real footage from for the majority of the documentary, because as it's an expose, but he creatively recreated the conversations of the main source of the story, Giancarlo Granda, who was kind of sharing his side, and it was really an interesting and different way to act. It was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We watched it. You did a great job. It was a fun watch for sure.
And it was fun to do.
You also do, as you said, commercials. You do some print work, right?
Yeah, yeah. I do all the
What?
things. I'll do voiceover, I'll do commercial, print. It's just something that I enjoy. I really don't have a desire to be famous. I'm not
Me neither. It can happen any minute, and I just kind of like, whoa, whoa. I
I
just,
like being able to go to the grocery store and take my kids places, and,
yeah.
but it's a way to pursue my passion, a passion I had since childhood. And some days I pinch myself. I was on set yesterday doing a print job, and it's like, wow, this is what I get to do for a portion of my living. But yet I'm
Mhm.
still a teacher at heart, and I still teach full time in a private Jewish school. So it's, it's a gift to be able to do what you love. And I think this is great that you're doing this. I know this is a passion of yours, and I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's fun. Still working out the bugs, and it's this is fun, and I'm glad that you're on here because you're a professional and you're making me feel a bit more comfortable.
Oh,
Um, but yes, this is definitely a passion project because I have my normal job, and this is just kind of my thing now.
but I think it's
Um,
great for us to be able to have that escape from, the day to day, and it offers us change and a space to reset, but yet still pursue, the living that we're proud of.
yeah, and I have a little bit of a radio background, and I know that people like to share. Like if I get them on the show, what are you up to lately? So it gives an outlet to people who may have been on the air previously, and it gives them an outlet to come on and talk about themselves, and it's really fun. I can't play softball anymore, so this is my new side thing.
Well, I love it.
Um, so I know you have some causes out there. Why don't you tell me what you support? I'm fully totally cool. The floor is yours. Whatever you'd like to talk about.
Oh, thank you. I mean, two things that I'm extremely passionate about are neurodiversity and inclusion, whether they be within a school system or anywhere, a workplace. And the second would be the LGBTQIA2S community. The neurodiversity piece comes from being a special needs early educator and working with many amazing kids over the years, who I love dearly. And I'm blessed to work with some very neurodiverse kiddos who see the world and receive the world very differently. And they
Mhm.
teach me as much as I teach them. So that's a huge part of what I love doing every day. Um, Nothing makes me happier than assisting a parent who can sometimes feel like, oh, my child is a reflection of me. I don't want anything to be wrong. But helping them to accept there's nothing wrong with your child. They are just different. They see and receive the world differently. And so it's my privilege to be part of a team that helps them create a nurturing and advocational space for their kids.
That was that was so eloquent. You really laid that one out there. That sounded fantastic, and thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, and it's important for neurodiverse adults too. I mean, there's been a huge insurgence of acknowledgement of adult ADHD and these kinds of things. And it's been, having things like YouTube and Instagram so available allows people access to content so that they can help themselves.
Mhm.
Finding coping tools or coping mechanisms without having to pay bazillions of dollars to a medical professional, which, of course, you need to do in the beginning, but it's something that can be hard for people to acknowledge, especially later in life. And it can also explain whatever difficulties, what have you, attention span or inability to be organized, etc. Oh, okay, I was never diagnosed with this as a child. Now I know what I have going on. Oh, let me find some tools to help me manage my symptoms or my affectation.
You mentioned ADHD, and I have adult onset ADHD, and I know I just found myself staring at this blinky thing I've never seen before, so I kind of got into a trance there for a half a second. But no, that's great. I'm glad you're involved with that. You're a special person
Thank
that would require that, and that's pretty awesome. Thank you. Um, well, I mean that's all I really have, unless you have something else to offer here. We kind of tackled every.
No, no worries. I mean, the only other thing I wanted to touch on was, my support for the LGBTQ community, the queer community, and being a parent of a queer child who is a young adult. Um, Given the current climate of our society, I think it's extremely important to be as supportive as we can of all human beings in our space. And, we're damn lucky to have the beautifully different people in our world that make it special, because I think it would be pretty freaking boring if everybody was exactly the same.
Yeah,
Um, I'm a firm advocate for PFLAG, which is a wonderful, supportive community created to help both families, allies, and all people involved in people of the LGBTQIA2S community. Um, you can go to simply be supportive. You can go to learn. Um, but it's a tough space without getting too into the weeds. It is definitely something that I will make a lifelong mission to fight acceptance for.
I love that. Fantastic. Well, I think that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up here. And I really, really do appreciate you coming on here. I've been wanting to get you on for a while. When I made the list, you were definitely on there. It was just a matter of getting our schedules to line up. And this was a good week for that.
It was. Well, I'm honored that you had me, and I appreciate it so much, Joe.
Do you have any? Do you have anything coming up that you'd like to talk about real quick, or is there a way that
Out
anybody
there.
can reach you if they would like to obtain your work?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got tons of auditions out there, so I'm not quite sure what my next venture will be. Um, but you can follow me on Instagram. It's Betty A. Monroe is the best way to keep in touch with me, or go to connectiveengagement.com.
I'm gonna put that up here.
Please do. Thanks, Joe.
That's the thing about me doing the show on my own is I got to push buttons and everything myself, so I go silent. So, do I have that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
All right. Well, go there and check it out. And Jennifer, I appreciate your comment to the show. I appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
And Betty, it was really great having you on. Thank you very much. And I know we'll talk to you soon because
Yes. Hopefully I get to see you in a month or so.
yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're gonna do our best to make that work. Thank you so much.
Very good, Joe. Hugs to AIM.
All right, sure thing. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye now. Well, that was cool. Thank you to Betty for coming on. Here's a promo for my next show. This is next Tuesday. It is Laura Koval, and she is a Santee City Councilwoman. And we're not going to talk politics. We're going to delve into other things. We have a lot of things in common. She worked for the Padres for many years. So we're going to go in different directions just as we did today. But anyway, thank you for checking in today. Again, please subscribe. And here is the promo for the next show. Thank you.